All right.
Okay, man. Whenever you're ready.
Excellent. All right. Welcome, everyone. This is Omari back again with another Wednesday morning lecture. Actually, it's afternoon right now. But Wednesday lecture to talk more about video. And today's talk will be specifically about one of the types of videos that we've highlighted in the past in one of our other videos, which will be linked below. And we will be talking about explainer videos. So explainer videos. So let's back up a little bit before we get into explainer videos. Let's talk about what the problem might be. So let's say you're running ads to a landing page, and you're having trouble getting conversions. There can be a number of different reasons why you're having trouble, but some of the main issues can be resolved by a video that specifically helps customers understand exactly what your customer value proposition is and how you're solving a problem for the client. So in short, an explainer video is a short form of video that's usually used for marketing and sales purposes. It highlights a company's product, service, or business idea, and it usually does so in a compelling, engaging way. And we'll go through some of the examples of types of videos, and you can and why you would choose one type over another type. So if you're already using video, you may actually have created an explainer video without even realizing it, and if not, it's something that you're going to want to consider if you're really trying to engage an audience and trigger some kind of an action, a purchase action, or something of that nature through your landing page. So why use an explainer video? Pages with video. It's well known. It's a well-known fact that pages with video experience higher conversion rates, and in fact, it can be up to 80% higher. In addition to the benefits of your increased conversion rate, it also helps to explain things. So if you have a complex product or a complex value proposition that you need to explain, you can do several different things. You can create a long page that goes through the value proposition, the problems and the value propositions one by one. That can be a little bit cumbersome. It's certainly if you design a great landing page, it can be really effective. But another way to do that is through an explainer video, and basically using a video in order to illustrate what the problem is for the customer, and how your solution resolves that, how your product or your product or service resolves that problem. So in addition, another reason why you might want to use an explainer video is that it actually helps you to connect to your audience through your customer persona. It helps your audience connect to the persona that you provide in your video. So if you like, for example, I'm going to give you one of the examples that I'll give a little bit later is an animated video with character-driven videos. If your characters are relatable to your audience, it'll be a better. The audience will respond better to the video. And then finally, one of the great kind of benefits of using an explainer video is if you're trying to drive an action. It's better at driving action than pretty much than the other video types that we've previously highlighted. It's one of the best ways that you can drive an action. So it's certainly something to consider if you're running an advertisement, especially if you've got something that's like I said, if you've got a product or a service that's a little bit complex, and the customer value proposition is a little bit hard to explain. So when you should use an explainer video is essentially look at it as a way that something that can augment what you're currently doing. So if you currently have an ad running and you want to kind of get some better results on your ad, or if you're currently sending people to a landing page from a social media post, consider using an explainer video, because it can just bolster what you're already currently doing. So you can use it on an ad, you can use them on landing pages, use them on the home page of your website. You can also use them in an email marketing campaign. So anything that you're already doing, it's just going to enhance and improve the results that you're seeing. So if you're looking at, you have pretty strong results, it can improve them. But if you are kind of lagging or not really seeing the conversions that you'd like to see, then definitely consider using this type of video in order to enhance your results. So now with that out of the way, let's go into what makes a good explainer video. So essentially, explainer video is generally short in length. You don't want it to go too long because you don't want to lose your audience. The goal of the explainer video is to get to the call to action. So the longer that you take to get to the call to action, the more likely you're going to lose people as a result. So don't let the explainer video go too long. They usually run under 3 minutes, and really good explainer videos are between 1 and 2 minutes. You want to make sure that you're explaining things in a good way, but getting to the call to action pretty much as quickly as you can. And that leads into the second point, which is that explainer videos have a strong call to action. They focus on solving a problem, and then at the end, it's basically going to trigger some kind of an action or ask for some type of an action, whether that's an app download or clicking through to a purchase page, or to subscribing, or whatever that is. That's what you're going to really try to make sure that you're hammering that at the end of the video, because it makes no sense to get all the way to the end. You've captured the audience, they've watched to the end of the video, and now you kind of leave them without something to do. So make sure that you have a strong call to action whenever you're designing or writing a script for an explainer video. So when it comes to solving a problem, if you want to focus on addressing a specific problem, so you don't want to be too broad. If you have a product that has a number of different value propositions, it's great that you have all of those, but you really want to pick a single value proposition that you want to focus on, because the problem is really going to lead off the video. That's going to be the strength of the video. Lead off with a problem, and then as you go through the video, we can start to see what the solution is, and then you hit the call to action. So if you have too many value propositions, the message can be muddled, and you can lose your audience. And the video, like as I mentioned, you don't want the video to go too long. So we try to keep that within that kind of 1 to 2 minute time frame. And then in addition, you want to match the brand and audience to the video with the style and tone of the video. So the brand is really important. Branding is really important, and one of the video types that we've mentioned before is brand videos. So explainer videos can also utilize your brand. Don't just rely on brand videos to enhance your brand, but use the explainer videos to kind of bolster your brand and kind of push your brand. So it's important to choose the correct type of explainer video, and use the style and tone of the video to match your brand. And finally, a good explainer video is going to be high quality, and that's really for a lot for the trust factor. You want to make sure that when people are watching, you're able to capture their trust, because that's going to be the number one reason that people leave your landing page or stop watching your video, is if either you're not connecting with them because you picked the wrong persona, or you're not connecting with them, you're basically not connecting them with them. The problem is not connecting with the audience, or it's just not quality, and people feel like it's not really for them because it's not quality, and you've lost the trust and they leave. So it's important to use high quality video, high production values, and there are ways to cut the production values, and we're going to go into those in a little bit. But the production and content should be high quality to effectively communicate your brand's value proposition. So with that, I'm going to showcase an example for you, so you can see kind of a bit of what we're talking about here.
10,000 emails.
Oh God, do I open it? When you try and unsubscribe from something, it's like this maze.
What I need is more time.
I feel like I'm drowning in it.
Unsubscribe, 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 unsubscribe,
Unsubscribe. See ya.
unsubscribe. Yeah, let's keep that.
It's kind of fun. It's like a game.
Man, this is cool. This makes it really easy. It's just that easy? Come on.
So I want to ask, what did you notice when you watched this video? This video is a video of a product called Unroll Me. What did you notice? How did they hit on the points that I mentioned earlier? Well, first they hit on the problem right away, which is managing email subscriptions. So managing email subscriptions can be complicated and can be frustrating for the user. They show lots of folks trying to manage their emails and trying to unsubscribe to individual emails and having it take a lot of time. And the app shows how easy it is to basically just swipe and unsubscribe for various email subscriptions. So that's a really interesting tool, and it is tailored to a specific demographic, certainly people who don't like to be subscribed to too many emails. And if that's a problem for you, it's something that you might actually watch to the end of the video. And if it's not, then you won't. So it's really important, as I mentioned, to target the right customer and hit on the problem that you've already validated. Hit on that problem when you address that problem and the solution in the video. They explained how the product resolves the problem. So that's really important. So not only did they hit on the problem, but they also explained how it resolves the problem. The video is super short in length, so they could have gone into lot of detail and dragged the video on for 3, 4, or 5 minutes, talking about all the specific ways that they help you to manage your emails, but that would have made the video go too long. So it was a really succinct, really well, concise video that basically just hits on the problem and the solution, and that's it. And then the call to action again. Finally, the call to action. It finishes up with the call to action that which is to subscribe, which is to download the app. So that's a really strong example of an explainer video. So in order to do what they accomplished, and what I'm explaining to you in the right way, it all comes back to understanding your core audience, your core customer. So before you get started, if it was time now to think about, okay, now I know what an explainer video is. We've got an example of an explainer video. We've talked about what are the things that make a good explainer video. Now it's time to think about how you're going to get started creating a video, an explainer for yourself. So the first thing that you want to do before you start is think about the who. The who is the key to reaching your audience. Not only will you use your who when setting up your audience, but it's important to use the who to match. When I say setting up your audience, meaning setting up your audience if you happen to be running ads, or just understanding your audience from an advertising and digital marketing perspective. But also, it's also important to match the who in your video. So as I mentioned, if you have in the video, in the example of Enroll Me, where we've got a number of different people swiping through their phones, they all match a specific demographic. They're all in similar circumstances. They're on their phones. They're in their living rooms. They're managing their emails on their phones. So it's not going to necessarily apply to somebody who, let's say, manages their emails on their desktop device, or maybe they don't use their phone that much. It's really tailored to a specific type of audience, and that's what you want to do. So make sure you target the who of your video. The next, and as I mentioned, this is really the next most important thing, is you want to target the problem. You want to understand what's the problem is, what the problem is that you're trying to solve. If you haven't got an answer to this question, we suggest you look into some lean business planning tools. We'll also link that in the description, and those will help you down the path of understanding what problem you're trying to solve, and really helping you to identify and validate the problems that you're trying to solve. Next is to come up with a solution. So once again, you've gone through the process of figuring out the problem, who in your audience is experiencing this problem, and who your product or service is directed to. Then it's time to come up with a solution. So now, usually the solution is what people start with. It's actually a bit of an error to do it that way, but it's kind of the most common way that folks do this. So you probably, if you're in business already, you probably, or you have a business concept, you already have figured out what the solution is. But if not, it can be useful to poll your users, and find out exactly how they're currently solving the problems, so that you can figure out what are some ways that you can solve the problem for them that they aren't already doing themselves, or that's an improvement on what they're currently doing. So the solution should be the solution that you highlight in the video, just like the problem, should be a specific benefit of your product. And it shouldn't be the overall product itself necessarily. I mean, it really should be a specific benefit of the product. So you can talk about the product, but try not to talk about every aspect of the product or every feature of the product. That's cumbersome, and it again makes the video way too long. So in the example that we just watched, we're talking about specifically about how the app relieves the stress of managing your emails. Now the app itself may have a number of other benefits, but that's not what's targeted in the video. The video is only a minute long, and so it really just starts with this problem and ends with the solution and the call to action. So next, number 4 on the list of what you want to do before you get started is the proof. So you want to make sure that you can provide proof or some kind of validation that you can solve this problem for the customer. This can happen in a number of different ways. In the example that we watched, it was a little bit of a social proof situation, because you're watching people going through this, although you know they're actors, but you're watching people go through the experience and feeling like they're relieved at the end of the experience, having downloaded the app. Now, maybe they aren't actors. I'm not sure. They probably are actors, but the way it's filmed is it's as though you're watching testimonials. And so you want to make sure that you are able to provide some kind of proof that you're able to provide relieve the problem for the customer. So social proof is really strong. Social proof in the way of testimonials, or as we just saw in the example video. Credentials, you can provide your credentials, or maybe if you've been published by if you've been featured in an article in a known magazine, or on a news program, that gives you some proof. Accolades, if you've achieved any accolades, these can also help to provide some proof, some of that reasons to believe. Why should the customer believe that you can solve their problem? And that's what number 4 on the list is all about. Next is the offer. So the offer, as I mentioned, is not the first thing that you lead off with, but is definitely a key component to making sure that you can actually get the results that you're looking for with your video. So the offer, as I mentioned, is also called the call to action. It's a extremely critical part of any campaign, and there's really no point in teaching your customer all about your products if they don't know what to do after they learn about it. So that's really, it kind of goes without saying. Make sure you've got a strong offer in place, and you put that at the end of your video. So with that, there are generally 5 types. There are 5 types of explainer videos, and we're going to run through these and talk about what the benefits of each one are and what might be most appropriate for one business over another business. So first on the list is motion graphics. Motion graphics are basically they're like infographics, but they're animated. So you probably have seen these sorts of videos when advertised from financial institutions. You'll see charts, and you might see graphs, and they might see some statistics, but it's basically an animated infographic that gives you some information beyond just branding and so forth. They tend to have high production value, and they, as I mentioned, they're good for they're typically used by financial institutions or when selling financial products. Next, you've got the chalkboard or whiteboard. This is an engaging type of video because you can see graphics kind of appearing as you watch. So you'll often see a hand on the screen, and it'll be drawing things and drawing images as you watch them. So it's kind of engaging. It's pretty. Maybe it's a tad bit cliche because you see it a lot, but it's very inexpensive type of video to produce. So that's why it tends to be quite popular, and it's a great way to explain complex information. It's a great way to explain complex information. It tends to be a type of video that is used for IT software, tech solutions, and things of that nature. Now we've got screencasts. That's one of the easiest and simplest things, which is basically just a cast of a screen running through the product. So it's not really great for explaining sort of how you come to the solution of a problem. So explaining a problem, explaining a solution, that's not its strong point, but it's extremely inexpensive to make. And it tends to be a good way to do a sort of like a trial. So like it's sort of like a non-interactive trial. So basically, I can see what the app looks like. If it's an app, I can see what the app looks like, and based on the interface, I can make a decision as to whether or not I want to investigate further. And then you've got your character-driven videos, and these ones you're probably quite familiar with as well. These are your character-driven animated videos that use feature cute little animated people walking across the screen doing things, and often will feature a voiceover accompanying the animated character, and the animated character represents the user, right? So it's basically the user walking through the customer journey, and they show what the problems that the characters are facing, and then how the character achieves a solution. So this tends to be a great tool for a number of different types of customers. Your general customer based general consumer products are great for, this is great for consumer products. It's also great for small businesses. So to advertise to small businesses, and it's great for startups. If you have a startup and you want to kind of introduce your product or your brand in a fun and engaging way, it can be a great way to advertise yourself as a startup. And one of the key benefits of this type is that they tend to be very entertaining. So they're entertaining, and you're using storytelling in order to get to an end goal. So it's very captivating, and it helps people to kind of continue along the journey with their animated persona. And finally, you've got live action. So live action would just basically be, it kind of goes without saying. So live action is very effective, but also can be kind of costly due to the high production values involved. If you're doing many different shoots and you have models and locations and all these things that go into a live action shoot. So live action is quite expensive, but it can be very effective. It's usually, but not always, narrated, and they can also be integrated with an animated overlay. So you can show your live action characters a HUD or some kind of a meter or something like that that gives you some additional information besides just the video itself. So I'm going to run through another example for you, and hopefully this runs, but if not, we will edit this in. So,
how do you keep track of your financial life? Statements? Spreadsheets? Scribbles? It's time for something better, something easier, something smarter. Mint is a free, easy way to manage your money that empowers you to take charge of your financial life. Get started with a simple one-time setup. Add your bank, credit card, home loan, and investment accounts. Mint quickly and securely pulls in the information and organizes it for you. That's it. No more bookkeeping. Mint keeps it all up to date. You can see all your accounts in one place, with one login, anywhere, anytime. Mint uses bank-level security and alerts you to any suspicious transactions so you can rest easy. Mint shows you where your money goes. Your expenses are automatically categorized so you can keep track of how much and where you're spending. With one click, you can create a budget based on your spending history, make adjustments, track your progress, and find ways to spend smarter. Mint reviews your financial picture and makes personalized recommendations on ways you can save. You get all the information you need to make smarter decisions and plan for the future. Mint, it's the best free way to manage your money. Sign up and get started with Mint in less than 5 minutes.
which of the 5 types that we talked about does Mint fall under? So it falls under the motion graphics. So it's motion graphics is the first one we kind of highlighted. Motion graphics, and again, the reason why motion graphics is great is because it's useful to help highlight how to fix a problem. It also had a bit of a screencast element where they actually showed some of the user interface in it as well. So it combined different things. So the strengths of this video were that it clearly explained the problem and the solution. It used the right branding for the brand. So as you notice, Mint usually, it has a green interface. They match the branding in the video with the branding of the app, and it has a very clear CTA, which is a call to action, which is to download to sign up for Mint. So really strong. Another strong one. Difference between this one and Enroll Me is this video focused more on the solution, whereas Enroll Me focused more on the problem. I would definitely recommend trying to focus more on the problem and not going into too much detail on the solution, because you can again lose your audience as you're going through a number of different features, and then you've kind of lost them at the end. So, but still very strong offering. Definitely think that's a really good example as well. Okay, so then kind of closing up, we want to talk about what are the steps that you need to take in order to produce your explainer video. So the steps you kind of go through, or kind of the things you want to think about, is really just kind of 4 main steps, or 5 steps, if you will. You want to answer the 5 main questions we talked about earlier, the 5 questions for your brand, for your brand or product. You want to choose the style of video that matches your brand and matches the messaging that you want to, and matches your business type. Again, all of these the different styles may not be appropriate for all types of businesses. If you have a financial type application, you're going to want to go with motion graphics, but then but you may want to do character driven if you are a startup, for example. So different things, try look at different solutions and pick the style that matches what you're trying to do. You want to write an effective script. So you need to write, the next step was, once you have the style, you need to write a script, and you want to make that script lean heavily on solving the problem for the customer. And then finally, or fourth, you really want to decide where whether you're going to produce your own video or hire a production company to complete your project. Unless you are artistically inclined, it was definitely a good idea for you to hire somebody to produce your project for you. Again, because quality is going to be really important, and you want to make sure you're not cutting any corners on the video, so that it can be as effective as possible. And then fifth is to put it in the right places that can get you the results. So whether that be on your homepage, on a landing page, in a digital ad, in an email campaign, you want to place the video in a way that will get you some results. So closing up, explainer videos, definitely give it a try. I definitely recommend it. They are not just for products, but if you have a service-based business, it can also be a great way to get your service-based business some additional conversions through your landing page or through your campaigns, and it can be a great way to get the ball rolling on a new product or service if you happen to be launching something for the first time. So definitely something I'd like to recommend to give it a try to. So with that, I'm going to close up and just tell you a little bit about who we are. We are, again, the eBiz Marketing Academy. We're here every Wednesday trying to impart some really useful bits of information to you guys. And we are an online community and platform for business skills learning. We're here to give information. We have lots of useful information for e-commerce business owners, service businesses, local business coaches, digital marketers, and much more. Again, my name is Omari Valentine. I'm your presenter here today, and one of the co-owners here with the eBiz Marketing Academy. So definitely looking forward to seeing you at our webpage. Again, we'll put the links below on where you can find us, and looking forward to seeing you guys again next Wednesday. So take care, and we'll see you soon.